My mind was they're jealous of her. And I'm not saying this is always the case, but when it is the case,
I love this creator. Go watch her whole entire video. The premise of the video is that men are jealous of women. And I recorded a video earlier this week where I talked about men being the primary trolls on my TikToks. If you go back and watch any of my videos and peruse the comments section, you will see that the majority of haters that leave vile, vitriolic, third grade maturity level jabs at my appearance. And you know, it's the trifecta of troll insults. You're old, you're ugly, you're fat. I get all of them, okay? And I love what she says here because she says that it's because they're jealous. My take was that they want energy from women. They want attention from women, even if it's negative energy. And I'll tag that video down below. But I love this pretty creator because she adds a whole new take, whole new spin, which is that they're jealous. And she says that it's not always blatant and that sometimes you have to have discernment to see that men are jealous. But I want to add to that. I think it can also be very obvious when men are jealous of you. And I would also assert that this happens often in your relationship. Let me share some tea of my own relationship that I just got out of 6 months ago. Here's some signs that they're jealous of you. Number one, they will never compliment you. They won't even acknowledge places in your life where you're killing it. I had written a whole ass book, and my ex never once asked me to read said book. Meanwhile, he was a musician, and I was helping him write like song lyrics on a notepad all the time, trying to help him with words that he could use. But he just really had no interest in like reading my art, never even really asked about it. I had new business ventures that I started when I was with him. I also started my podcast, told him all about it because that's what you do as a girlfriend. He never once asked to listen to anything, see anything I was doing. He wouldn't even follow up with me and ask me how the new business was going. Just in general, he didn't really have any interest in me, which I could chalk up to him just being a selfish ass. But in reality, I just think it's very interesting that he didn't have interest in things that would make me even more of a catch, make me even more of a badass, and quite frankly, even more out of his league. So he didn't bring up the things that I was doing to improve myself, that I had bragging rights over, that anyone else was like, oh my God, like my girlfriends were hyping me when I sent out my first podcast episode. They were like, you are such a badass, like you go after it. Girls will just hype each other, you know, like without any ego involved. And him, no interest. They will go so far as to downplay your accomplishments. I remember one time, this happened often, I would make him food, and I'm a kick-ass cook. I'm a cook-ass baker because I was a homemaker for 20 years, and nobody can tell me otherwise. I made this motherfucker short ribs in the Instapot with homemade mashed potatoes and like braised carrots and potatoes. And he never once complimented me. I made this for him while he was watching a movie upstairs. So cringy. Ugh. I have the ick of myself for that. But never once complimented it, and in fact complained that he was sick all night after eating my food. Didn't want to get to know my kids, didn't want to get to know like my career, like understand my career, understand more about who I worked for, what I did, because that would be giving me credibility for things that made me me. And let's like get to the brass tacks of it. Maybe he didn't want to talk about things that were making me more of a kick-ass human. But he didn't even want to acknowledge the things that made me essentially me. That tells you right there that he just has a general MO of invalidating you. Why do they want to invalidate you? Because they want to chip away at you so that you come down to their level and they don't have to fear you leaving them. Period. End of story. And that all comes down to jealousy because they can't rise to the level that you're at no matter what they do. And so their only recourse is to chip away at you, to invalidate you, or to just honestly completely ignore the things that are beautiful about you.